back to OATS Uncut, Orator Academy Talks Uncut, where we'd like to bring you conversations that are real, raw, relevant, current, and useful to all of us. And we also like to bring topics that the next generation can contribute towards. And I have this very bright young man who's very passionate, very driven, and very connected to what's happening in our world, and genuinely worries about the current events and his aspiration for the future. So with that mindset, I really wanted to pick the brains of Reyansh. Reyansh, welcome to OATS Uncut.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I've been hoping that you'd show up. It's been quite a while, and I've griped about that to you because I think you always have a unique point of view, or even if it's not unique, you have a point of view.
Yes.
It's important to have something to say.
Exactly.
And it's also important to accept disagreements. And you and I have bantered and argued and defied each other in our classroom banter as well.
Yes.
And I've enjoyed every bit of it because I thrive on the fact that you guys are so connected. So, first of all, a humble brag, FBA state champion?
Yes.
Yes? Tell us about FBLA. What is FBLA?
So FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America. And in Future Business Leaders of America, I chose a competition called Coding and Programming. In that competition, I had to basically choose a timeline, a specific decade, and I had to create a game based on that. So it was 2 to 3 weeks away from the competition, and I hadn't done anything yet. So I was pretty worried. But then I got my act together and I called my partner over and told him, we have to work on this presentation now. So I told him, you work on the presentation, I'll build the game. And over the next few weeks, we exactly did that. And on the day of the presentation, I wasn't that worried. I was calm, cool. And then it was our 9:30 a.m. slot, and we gave the presentation, and I feel we did really good. And my partner, he was worried still and thought, I think we didn't do that well. But we waited for the results to come out, and the results came out great. We won first, and now are advancing to nationals.
That is amazing. So I know you briefly told me about this before we started recording. So I want you to tell the audience as to how you chose your subject or your product. Is that what you call it? Your project or product?
Yeah, project.
Project, all right.
So I have an interest in AI, and I recently joined some coding classes. So I thought maybe I could use my experience and build a game based on coding and programming.
And there was a certain demographic that you targeted. Why?
Well, I targeted that because I thought the judges are probably from the 1980s and I can connect with the judges.
So you targeted the age range of people born from the 80s and 90s.
Correct.
Because you were trying to play on the judges, because the judges would be typically from that time.
Yes.
I think that was a very, very smart move.
Yes.
So what it tells us also, what it reaffirms is that when you speak, you're speaking to an audience and you want to give to them what will be of value to them. When you're building a product, you're thinking of the consumer. So you were mindfully thinking of the audience, the consumer, and delivering to that, and that might have played hugely. I'm sure you did a great job developing working on the project and presenting it. But I think the mindset behind the whole genesis of the project, I think that was a very smart move. I'm very, very proud to hear.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, so you and I talk about current events in class a lot.
Yes.
And the last class we were talking about our world is in a turmoil right now. And how are we affected? What are the economic effects of this whole situation right now? So what is your read on this? What's going on?
So basically, as you can see, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and America's affected by that in many ways, and the cost of living has changed drastically, such as the way of agriculture, food, transportation, and airfare, and stocks have even changed.
Yeah, I mean, I was in India a few weeks ago, and it was a task, a very difficult situation for me to come back. I had to come a little earlier and I had to pay thousands of dollars to get on an earlier flight. And I'm glad that I at least made it. There are people who are stuck. Airline prices have really shot through the roof. The gas pump is giving a much higher number.
Yes.
So the common man is getting hit. So which countries do you think are affected by this?
Well, I would say mainly America and allies of America. And so I feel like NATO, those countries, some are affected, some are not. Like what Iran has said, if you're my ally, if you're not against me, I'll let you pass through the strait. But if you're against me, no.
Do you think that's fair of them to do?
I say it's exactly fair.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, that's one thing you could be in control of, so why not?
So why not? So what are your hopes and expectations of this chaos? Do you think there is an end in sight?
I feel like there was, when we went in this war, there was no end goal to the war.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel this war will at least continue on for the next 4 weeks, and I don't know where we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll definitely see different economical impacts in oil prices. And we can already see a barrel of oil, which costs $73, all the way like costing $83 per barrel now. Mm-hmm. So those 20 to 30 cents per gallon now per week also can impact the common man, like you said.
So that affects the fuel prices, the gas prices going up, also affects agriculture, like you said.
Yes.
Also affects textiles to a certain extent, because I recently read somewhere that this one particular fabric, like polyester, I think polyester is becoming very unaffordable. Not that it's the best kind of textile, but nonetheless, a lot of garments are made with polyester.
Yes.
And it needs petroleum jelly.
Yes.
So even that will go up. You were saying something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to also add that like LNG, which is liquefied natural gas, plays a major role also in agriculture. So fertilization process requires 10 to 15% of natural gas. And now that 20% of natural gas passes through the Strait of Hormuz, the natural gas cost is going up, and many fertilization can also go up, which can make farming and goods also go up. So it's all like a chain reaction.
Why do we do things to ourselves which are going to make everything difficult for us? Do you ever think about that sometimes?
Yes, I do. I feel it's not just America, it's probably every country right now.
It's all over the world right now. So you think the leaders are failing us, of the world, not one specific country?
I feel it's not always the leader's fault, because if you think about it, it's the people that elect them.
Say that again.
We shouldn't always blame our leaders, because it's the people that we choose to represent our country.
So that's why we have a right to vote. We have a right to pick our leaders. There are people who don't even go out and vote. They say, well, I think that person has enough votes to get where they want to be or not get where they shouldn't be. So I don't need to go out and vote. It's inconvenient. It's between my work day and all of that. But it is our moral responsibility as citizens of a country and citizens of the world that we put the right people in charge. Because their actions and their decisions are going to impact our day-to-day life.
Yes.
Right? And our future and our children's future.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you think for that reason, would you ever consider being a leader yourself? Or, you are a leader, you are a future business leader. But would you consider being a political leader, like a leader of the world or leader of the country, something of that sort? One of those, United Nations, I think, is a bit redundant right now, so I can't say a UN person, but...
Oh, I actually was looking into being a diplomat when I grew up and going towards the United Nations. Because I have a friend's dad who who used to work for the UN, so he gave me some tips and insights on the UN.
That's awesome.
So that gave me some inspiration and made me excited that maybe I can go and work for the UN one day.
And you can revive UN and its duties and responsibilities that are not very impactful right now.
Yes.
Because UN has to stay afloat and UN has to stay relevant.
Yes.
So perhaps you and your generation can bring it back on track.
Yes, definitely.
But again, who the leaders are around us will define what you are able to do and what you're not able to do, because as a diplomat, you're also answerable to a leader.
Well, yeah, I guess there's corruption and politics everywhere. And that will probably not change.
Unfortunately.
So that's something you can't control, but you can make a small change into the environment.
That is true. That is true. Any other economic impacts that you have studied or observed of this war?
Well, let's go back to airfare. So jet fuel, 25 to 30%, that's what accommodates for the flight tickets. And now that the jet fuel relies on oil and the gas is going up, so the jet fuel, there's like less jet fuel, so there would be like inflation. And what I mean by inflation is that like you're buying something, but you're getting less amount of it. And also because like Iran has closed the airspace, so like most flights will take more time and take a detour.
Yes, I was going to say that, because now the flights have become longer because you have to skirt around the area of the war. So longer flights, more money, higher tickets, more expensive tickets, and unaffordability for the common person. It's very, very difficult. Okay, so you want to be a diplomat. That's great. I really hope to see you in that seat. And you, well, hopefully can control and make some good decisions that benefit. But as a student right now, you have many more years in between then and now. What is the path that you feel that you're charting out for yourself?
Well, in going to 8th grade, I think I'll continue on with FBLA.
You are in 7th grade right now. This is phenomenal.
Yes. And then when I like move towards my high school years, I'll still continue on with FBLA because it's given me many opportunities, and there's different things in FBLA. There's like business, finance, so I can learn more of that. And I'll also look into different coding, robotics.
So keep up with the AI game also.
Yes.
So what are your 2 cents on AI? What do you think? Is it helpful or is it taking over humanity and its skills?
Well, we need to understand that we're the ones that built AI. So, and AI is probably not gonna take over the world like many people say, because we can keep in control of it. But I think it's like a partner in progress.
I love that partner in progress.
It can help the world in many ways. Like right now, some of my research, some of my data, I asked AI to give me some insights and thoughts. And sometimes even when I need like test help and like make some quizzes, it can help me. But some ways AI can be like not beneficial is like asking it for like cheating. And it can be non-beneficial in those ways. But it can be beneficial in many other ways too.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when the internet came, there was panic then also.
Yes.
That, oh, it's going to take over. But no, I don't think it took over. It was a partner in progress too.
Yes.
So I am also very hopeful that AI yes, it'll bring some redundancy, but there will be other avenues then. We'll just shift our focus from one to the other. I mean, some jobs will be taken over for sure, but hopefully some other jobs will get created. But one will have to be more technologically savvy.
Yes.
Right? Very interesting, because this is a very current topic in your generation right now. And my generation has seen everything from no computers to dial-in, to fast, high-speed internet, and now we have fiber optic and Wi-Fi everywhere you go. By the way, talking about Wi-Fi, do you think it's safe when you're somewhere you log into their Wi-Fi, even if it's free?
Well, now that was like something I was also interested in, basically cybersecurity. So, well, I guess you should, if there's like a multi-factor authorization, then you should probably do that, because then different malware can get in your harmful things. So I think you should like wait and first trust it, get a credible source, and then you should proceed with the logging in and connecting with the Wi-Fi. Like if you're at a hotel and it's like Marriott, let's say, 5-star hotel, then I would say I would trust it. But let's say you're like in an Airbnb, which a seller gives it to you, then I wouldn't trust it that.
No, because now many airlines are offering either free Wi-Fi or with some money. So I remember on my flight recently, I had free Wi-Fi throughout, and I thought it was amazing. It was so convenient because I got so many things done. I was drafting my letters, I was ordering things that I needed upon landing. It was just amazing. I thought it was so convenient. At the back of my mind, there was a little voice saying, is this the right thing to do? You're logging into a free portal.
Yes.
So I guess we have to take our chances.
Yes. We have to trust someone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't just keep being overcautious also. It's not a very relevant comparison, but some people would say, hey, I'm scared of airline travel. You travel so much. Aren't you scared of travel? With so many crashes and hijacks and this and that.
Well, then...
What about driving on the highway?
Yeah,
there are more crashes on the highway.
You could just say that I won't trust a doctor, I won't trust a cop. Well, there's something like that could always happen. Yeah. You just gotta sometimes trust your instinct. And go with the flow. Go with the flow.
So in terms of enlisting the economic impact, going back to your main subject that you wanted to talk about today. So it's just the Strait of Hormuz that is affecting, or are there any other impacts of the current war situation that is affecting not just us, but people in other countries too?
Well, let's say Asia. Japan and South Korea, 70% of the oil imports come from the Middle East. And many of their ships come from the Strait of Hormuz. And 1 in 5 barrels of oil travel through the Strait of Hormuz. So many economists call it a choke point of global economy because it's a 21-mile wide-ranged waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, but it accounts for 20% of oil barrels, 20% of LNG. So it's small, but creates a big impact.
Okay, and is the Far East also affected? Like Far East Asia, Hong Kong, well, Hong Kong is now China, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, are those countries also affected? India?
Well, I'd say India played it pretty strategically because they became a diplomat in that case. They let their LNG ships are being let through because they said, we're not against Iran. So their ships are being let through. Same for China. They've played strategically through. So I think right now they're not that much affected because they've played the right decision and not getting too involved.
Not getting too involved in other people's business.
Correct.
So is the war a fair decision then? I mean, is the war on our part, when I say our part, on America's part, that we went in for this, we stirred the hornet's nest? I
would say that what we did in Venezuela, we thought we could do in Iran, but that unfortunately didn't happen. So I would say...
Caught by surprise.
Yes. And Iran played really smart by closing the Strait of Hormuz.
So never underestimate anyone, I guess, because just because somebody is laying low and being quiet in life in general also, it's not that they can't fight back. It is very scary right now what we're going through, and the countries in between are suffering as well because they're getting the brunt of it.
Yes.
The pictures very early on, when the pictures came from the Dubai airport being all smoked because there was a drone or something that crashed into the airport very early on when the war had just started.
Yeah.
It was very saddening to see, and I don't know, it worries me because I think our day-to-day safety also can get compromised. We have suffered through 9/11, and you never saw that.
Yes.
But fortunately, I was new to this country. But those two twin towers were a symbol of strength and almost made you feel invincible. and very strong as a country. And to see it collapsing in front of your eyes,
it's sad.
Is something that I think I can never recover from. And I knew people there in the building. My husband was in that building. He was the last train that pulled into the World Trade Center station that morning. And how he managed to escape. But by the time I picked him up in the evening, because everything was closed, the bridges were closed, the tunnels were closed, he couldn't get here, I couldn't get there to get him either. And he was running away from it, and then, I don't know, hitchhiked and what all they did. But by the time I picked him up, he was covered in white suits from head to toe because of all that demolition that happened, the collapse of the Twin Towers. So I can never get over that sight. So I feel that in these wars, one has to really know what one is going for, because there can be retaliation, there can be an attack in retaliation, which will affect no leader. The leaders are safe and secure, they have their security with them, their families are secured. The common man will suffer.
Yeah, I'd like to add on one more thing. So, when an apple fell, we discovered gravity. But when millions of bodies fell, we still didn't discover humanity.
I know you said that in class, and I'm glad you brought it up because it is profound. Did you read it somewhere? How did you come across that statement?
So I was reading an article, and then I read that, and it pretty touched me in my heart, and it was pretty devastating to read some quote like that.
Yeah. Do you remember what article and where?
No.
So we can give them credit?
Fortunately not.
No, but just repeat that one more time because it's important.
An apple fell, but we discovered gravity. But when millions of bodies fell, we still didn't discover humanity.
It is heartbreaking. All I can say is I hope that your generation things change by the time you're older. Whether I hope we can fix it for you, or I hope you can get a jump start on things because you're already so engaged, because you're exposed to so much information that we were not as children. So I feel that your childhood has been compromised too, because growing up, we were insulated in so many ways. We had that one newspaper that came in the morning, you read through what was happening in your world. Now news is being delivered to you before it happens.
Yeah.
When you turn on the TV channel, it is, okay, this is happening, and because of this may happen.
Yes.
So you're living in constant fear and uncertainty. You are exposed to that, unfortunately. And I worry about that. So I feel that there's a lot of cleaning up that we need to do for you guys. And I hope that you have the strength and the resilience to create that beautiful world that you deserve for yourself and your generation and beyond.
Yes, I totally agree to that point.
Yeah. You have any closing thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say, going back to the economical part, when we discussed the Strait of Hormuz, when we got into this war, we wanted the Strait of Hormuz. Now we want the Strait of Hormuz open. But when you think about it, we didn't have to get into this war anyway because the Strait of Hormuz was open then.
The Strait of Hormuz was open then. We didn't have to fight a war to open it. Thank you, Reyansh. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
Stay engaged as you are already. Stay connected. Keep sharing your thoughts. Keep articulating. Because with people like you, with students like you, with young boys and girls like you, there is hope for our world.
Yes.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, heart to heart, very real, very raw, very honest. And I hope you will stay tuned to more episodes like this on OATS Uncut. Till next time, take care.